Just kicking back.
What's up, hula
Sometime.
hands?
Yeah.
Johnny
Yeah.
likes to
So,
talk a little bit at the beginning.
whew.
We're here at little deal of the week action. It's Thursday, so we got a fun deal of the week for you, don't we, Johnny?
We do, man. Phone's blowing up. People can't believe it, and they shouldn't believe it. It's marketing. But let's go through the deal of the week today, Danny.
But real quick before we do, what's your shirt all about?
Oh, that means heal Maui. Ho'ola Maui. Got this on Kauai right after the fires because we split to Kauai to kind of get out, after later in the year after it had happened. And man, all the islands were back in Maui and repping Maui. So this is one of their initiatives over there. And they're giving all the proceeds to fire survivors. I broke down crying, the wife and I did, man, because as you come into Honolulu, they just had all these signs out that said, Lahaina, we cry with you.
Wow,
Yeah.
powerful. When I was in Okinawa last fall, there was a bunch of artists and stuff doing Maui stuff, and they said all the proceeds going to Maui fire victims. I was like, wow, all the way over here. Because they love their Hawaii and Japan.
They really, really do, man. They really do.
So let's give them
So,
the goods, Johnny. We got something
yeah, bro.
exciting. Stay tuned. We're gonna break it down for you. So we are in Lahaina Town,
Yep.
and we're gonna zoom
So,
in for you at the Lahaina Shores, one of two hotel-zoned condos in all of Lahaina, and the only one that's still standing. The other one is burned down. So here we are,
man, that's correct.
Lahaina
Yeah,
Shores.
man.
But there's something kind of kitty corner over here, Johnny. What's going on over there?
Yeah, so be sure to check out yesterday's Houlihan. We go through what the plans are for Lahaina, and one of the initiatives being run by my good friend Kapona Molitao is he is tasked with historical areas and bringing them back. And so basically, it was the Lahaina Royal area. So we have a history where Lahaina was the capital of the kingdom, Lahaina kingdom in the past, and then we moved it to Oahu. And King Kamehameha III had a summer palace here in Lahaina. That's why we named the elementary school that used to be right next to the banyan tree, King Kamehameha III Elementary School. And what people don't realize is that what is now a parking lot and a baseball field was once a giant freshwater spring fed lake because Lahaina was wetlands. And wetlands are important, although they're eliminated now because wetlands would provide a filter. As you had all this water come down, it would slow it down from rushing into the ocean, which creates runoff. And that's why I don't surf, or I'm told not to surf when it rains now, because you get this brown water and you get all this crap that gets rushed down, carcasses, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So,
Shark, shark,
anyway,
shark.
yep. So the wetlands used to filter that, so you didn't get so much sediment hitting the reef, et cetera. But now, we develop things and we just kind of make things change, fortunately or unfortunately. So what brought about the change is the sugarcane plantation diverting water for irrigation purposes. It stopped all the freshwater springs at the time. It created stagnant waters, which then attracted mosquitoes. So all they did was literally bulldoze the whole lake, filled it in, any kind of archaeological, finds are still beneath there. So just know that this is an area that is being heavily studied right now to potentially bring back as, a historical site as it should be. Some potential tourism education. I think it's a great idea. I think it's amazing. I've
It would be
always
so
wanted to
cool.
see what it would look like, dude. I mean, I just can't even imagine, my whole life driving by there. I never really played baseball in the fields, but just to know that that at some time was just this grand thing that just doesn't exist anymore. So
Yeah.
obviously the opportunity, guys, is at Lahaina Shores. So that's what we're going to show you
Jump
today.
into yesterday's episode. We break that down more and kind of give you a vision for what that
Yep,
might look like, what they're discussing. We go into a lot more detail. So
absolutely.
we're in Lahaina Shores, and the opportunities. Opportunities, catch that S, that we are looking at today are in 235 and 237.
So why is it important that we show you where it's at? You know, you're on the lower floors there, right? So imagine if you were 219, 217, 221, 215. I just have to disclose to you that you may enjoy some people screaming and having fun at the pool. So just things that I want people to be aware of. I don't think it's a constant thing, but that's what you deal with when you're by the pool. This one's a corner unit. Now, in terms of future thoughts and ideas and things to be aware of, I mean, you got 505 next door. At some point, they're going to be rebuilding that. So just know that's off to there. But yeah, it's an incredible opportunity because um, 235 and 237 are owned by the same owner, and that owner has passed away. And so now this is being run through probate, and there's a trustee that's been appointed, and their strategy has been to run this through an auction. So just want to touch on the three listing strategies that are out there. When I meet with you to sell your condo or your home on Maui someday, I'm going to give you three options for listing the home. And then I'm going to ask you at the end, based off of your timetable and your personal wants and desires, which one makes the most sense. So it starts out with what we call the aspirational pricing strategy, which is the most common and also the one that I feel is the most sucky because it feels like you're losing money. And what the
Yep.
aspirational pricing strategy is, I'm going to list above the last sale to give room for negotiation. So basically, I'm going to overprice it. Your real reason for doing that is you're hoping that there's going to be one person that says, yeah, I'll take it. And maybe it happens sometimes. Aspirational pricing strategies typically work with maybe a celebrity owner in the past, so it has a little bit of juice there. Direct ocean front, something that makes it a little bit more special. Then you have the
Or a hot
perceived,
seller's market like a couple
there you
years
have
ago.
it.
Then we were
There you have it.
going crazy.
You're pricing above because the market's going up as people continue to fight over these things, right?
Yes.
You're absolutely right. So the last one is called, so they have perceived market value, which is where I'm going to price right where the last one sold. So I'm right at the market. And then you have the one that's the most compelling called event-based pricing. And event-based pricing isn't working so well in this particular market right now because what you're doing is you're going to price a little bit below the last sale. And hopefully your place is just stunning to where just people go, oh my God, that is a deal. And then multiple people see that it's a deal. And then you get competition created to where now they push that, what used to be a deal, above the market because they're fighting over it. Emotions take over, animal instincts. That's much what auctions do all the time. And this is how auctions price. This is your starter price. This is your bid price. We're not going to offer bids lower than this. We're starting at 250, but it makes the phone ring. It hits Zillow, bombarded,
Yep.
250. Well, yeah, but you're not going to get it for 250. And here's why. So we're looking at 235 and 237. The compelling thing about both of these is that there's an interior door connecting them both. So it really makes the most sense that you buy both of these because it's your one-off opportunity. Really, really an incredible opportunity. I get a corner unit on one of them. I'm connected to both. I have separate kitchens, but I can use this as a two bedroom, a one bedroom. I can live in one. I can rent out the other, blah, blah, blah. It's awesome. Maintenance fees, 1425. Going to remind you, it includes the whole kit and caboodle, air conditioning, water, sewer, trash, exterior maintenance, landscaping, pool, yada, yada, yada. So it's 235 and 237. Let's go in and show them a little bit about the process, Danny.
Sure thing.
All right. So some things that we are going to show you is this is how it's going to work. They're going to take pre-auction bids from today on through August 25th. And then bids due prior to or on September 10th. So let's focus on pre-auction offers. So you may elect to submit a pre-auction offer. And we would submit those just on a regular contract. And you can put in contingencies, and contingencies are things like, well, John, I want to inspect it and I want to have a certain period to do that. So that would be my inspection contingency period. And let's say that's 2 weeks. We would get a period to review the title report and then also the AOAO documents, the condo documents. So those are your contingencies there. Pre-auction offer must be submitted no later than August 25th. Offer will state buyer remove all contingencies no later than September 1st or close escrow by that date. Now, something to know, because this is being run through an auction house, that auction house must get paid, regardless of whether this is captured during the auction or after the auction. So you're going to pay a 4% buyer's premium above whatever your offer is. Let's say the offer is $1 million to capture both of these. That would mean your offer is really going to come out of pocket $1,040,000. So that represents your buyer's premium there. Buyer must provide a 10% deposit with their offer, and you have to have proof of funds. It's going to be cash and a lender approval letter. You're not going to get financing here, and that's because we've talked about it. They're dealing with parking issues. I don't feel like you can get financing on it. If you do, it's going to definitely be non-QM stuff, maybe private money. Private money right now, hard money, looking at about 10% interest only rate. You're going to have to put around 40% down. And they'd amortize it, over 30 years, but you'd pay it off in 5. I feel that this would have to go cash. I think that's what they're going to be sniffing at here. So let's say it doesn't get caught pre-auction, then your auction day bidding, your sealed bill must be submitted on the website. There's also, or on the auction purchase contract, they have a separate one. All bids are due September 10th by noon. The top 50% of the bids so they're going to take and they're going to figure out top 50% of the offers, the highest 50%. They're going to do another auction asking for highest and best, and that's going to be due September 11th. So everybody submits by September 10th. They review those. They take the top 50%, and then you have to bid again, giving what's called your highest and best. So that's going to be due on September 11th. You shall close no later than October 11th. So
Which could be a
that
problem
is
if
the
there was
scoop.
any sort of financing, as most financing potentially takes longer than 30 days.
It certainly does, especially in the condo world. So, strategy wise, Danny, I would definitely be going after both of these because it's just such a one-off opportunity. So I feel that's the main strategy. Also, whenever I'm counseling my buyers, I put myself into the seller's shoes and try to imagine what they're going through and what their emotions are and what's going to motivate them the best, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have somebody, I don't know if we have people that have strong memories about this place. I'm imagining that these are kids or heirs that are just wanting the money out of this because the person that really loved them has passed away, right?
Yes.
And most people in those situations, they want the money fast. They don't want to wait till October 1st for this money, right? We're sitting at the end of July. The faster you can get them the money, maybe that provides an opportunity there. I would come at 1.2 million cash. So 1.2 million, add my 4% buyer premium, I'm at 1,248,000. 48,000 represents the 4% buyer's premium. So I'm at 1,248,000 because of what Lahaina Shores has just had to do to reopen for owners. I would write the offer waiving the inspection contingency period. That may make some buyers uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable as well because that's where most problems happen and lawsuits happen is condition of a property. But the reason why I feel so good is because of what Lahaina Shores just had to do. Lahaina Shores just had to replace all the air conditioning units. One of the things that all owners had to do was they had to replace new mattresses, they had to replace new refrigerators. Lahaina Shores has gone through and taken care of the carpet. They have professionally remediated every single unit. They have professionally cleaned off all of the furnishings. They have painted. They have done so much there, and that's what makes me feel comfortable doing that. Show them the slide there, Danny, which shows what they did on that one website page that we were just at. So here we go. Oh, New air conditioning units in all residences, refreshed hallway carpeting and paint, updated landscaping, beautifully restored main lobby. And it is a very cool main lobby. They had some really nice Hawaiian art and artifacts. Fully rebuilt their elevator systems. This is important because the natural springs that fed Moku'ula, which is that cool palace and lake that is right behind that no longer exists, is fed by natural springs. And guess what? Nature doesn't stop. Natural springs have been popping up. They've been filling up the 505 underground parking next door, and they also filled up the elevator system. So that's all been fixed. They just paved the parking area in the complex itself, and the pool and spa are spanky. Here it is, covered by HOA fees, air conditioning, Wi-Fi, cable, water, sewer, trash, ground maintenance, exterior building upkeep. That would be my strategy there, Danny, and close in 2 weeks.
I like the strategy. I like the opportunity. I think it's
So
unique on a
show
lot of
them,
realms.
show them the comps, Danny. What did these things sell for? What am I looking at when I look into the past? So keep in mind, guys, all the odd numbered units face the ocean, and all the even numbered units face the mountain. And the ocean units come with a premium, usually about two to $300,000 more in premium, right?
Yes.
So Danny's showing you at the peak of the market, which in this case here was in April of 2023, just before rates shot up drastically and cooled off the market like a glacier. There we are, guys. That's what these brought. And I'm telling you to pick up two of them for 1.2 million, 48,000. Long term, again, one of two hotels zoned in Lahaina proper. They don't like to build around here. We got moratoriums on hotels that we can't build. You have to rebuild Ainanalu. So that is
Completely
the
rebuild.
long-term strategy here. If you loved Lahaina and you believe that we're going to rebuild it cool at some point, this is the opportunity, guys. And I love the building. I already have. It looks to me has aspects of Iolani Palace. It speaks to old Hawaii in style and feel. I have friends of mine that honeymooned here all the way back in the 70s. It's got a vibe, man. So I've
Got a vibe,
always
a lot of
really, really
history.
enjoyed it.
And last but not least, all deals are not without warts, right, Johnny?
So true, dude. I mean, people were just gobbling homes up in 2022, and I'm giving them the advice that, hey, you got to offer 15% above the list price. All the contingencies, which are your protections that I just talked to you about in the contract, you have to get rid of those. And people were just fighting for these, competing. That's not a deal. That's
Mm.
dumb time to buy in my book, dude. I mean, that's when it's crazy. But you know what? Hats off to the owners that did buy and then sold. They killed it, Danny. They
They
did, and we
did.
helped them do it. But these are true deals here, right? They come with it's a risk reward. There's warts here. You may not be able to vacation rent this thing right away, but if you have a long-term horizon, this is a great investment.
Or if you want to come over for a bit and live in it.
Boom. There's the opportunity. Stay in one, rent out both. I've got guests coming. I'm not going to rent that one out because my guest's going to be there. I mean, interchangeable. That's why buying both of them is so important in my book.
And you don't see them come together very often.
That's it. So, guys, we have a full due diligence package. If you want to know everything you need to know before you jumped into this because you want to get involved in this guy here, just hit us up any way that you can. Do a Google search of my name, check on my Zillow page, check out my website, hit me in the comments, whatever you need. We're happy to help you.
That's it. So there is our deal of the week. Why it's a deal of the week. Break it down for you. Feel free to share it with anyone you might find interested or buy it with a friend. Go 50-50
DOW.
and then switch them around. You share it. Like it reminds me, real quick, Johnny, I'll give him a little story. It reminds me when I was in college and a few
Yeah.
of my friends wanted to buy season tickets to the NBA Minnesota Timberwolves. And tickets were cheap at that time because the team was terrible. So three of us bought season tickets, 3 seats, one each, and then we just traded. We each person
Dig
got
it.
three seats for X amount of games, and we could kind of bring friends or whoever, And I imagine maybe something like this could be that as an alternative. You and a friend, you
There
each
it is.
buy it, and then hey, you guys use it for these couple weeks, and we'll use it these couple weeks, and we'll rent them out in between, and there you go. So creative ways to look at
Boom.
it.
Maui market takes creativity, doesn't it, Danny?
It sure does. Well, there's even more opportunity when you look at it a little bit more creatively than just kind of face value. So, deal of the
There
week.
it is.
Until next time, go back and watch yesterday's episode. We talk all about the future of Lahaina, and tomorrow we'll bring you something else exciting and fun.
Moku Ula. That's what that place is called. Moku is island or space. Moku Ula. That was the one.
Oku Ula. There it is. Ahui ho, gang.
Yo.